Hello, everyone. Welcome to this evening's Hands and Hearts Making a Difference event. I am Martin Duda, San Mateo County District Council President. I want to personally welcome each of you and thank you for your generosity and support of St. Vincent de Paul. Tonight, we'll learn more about St. Vincent de Paul's impact in San Mateo County, which is made possible by your contributions. I hope you enjoy the event and thank you again for joining us tonight. Now I'd like to introduce Gretchen Lott, our spiritual director and mistress of ceremonies, who will lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you all for joining us. So let's take a moment, close our eyes, bring our attention to this beautiful evening as we pray in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Inspired by Matthew's Gospel, to feed the hungry, to give drink to the thirsty, to clothe the naked, to visit the stranger and those in prison, and to be with those most in need of God's mercy and care. We pray that tonight we may be generous with our time, our possessions, and ourselves in this mission of charity we call St. Vincent de Paul. Thank you for joining, and now I'll turn it over to Jim. Jim?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this evening's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, San Mateo County's annual 2022 Hands and Hearts Making a Difference fundraising event. I'm Jim Lonergan, Executive Director for the Society here in San Mateo County. Thank you so very much for being here with us this evening for this critical fundraising event, where each year your generous contributions will go directly to our Children of God Community Impact Fund to fund and support critical safety net services for our neighbors in need in San Mateo County. These safety net services, assistance with rent, utilities, transportation, food, clothing, just to name a few, are at the core of services provided by the Society. When we are referred to as the safety net of the safety net in the San Mateo County continuum of care, it is through your very generous donations that we are blessed to provide the level of service and care asked for from those living on the margins in our community. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our sponsorship partners who have so generously supported this event over the years and continue to do so. I would also like to say thank you to our board of directors for your continued support and our staff who works very hard behind the scenes to bring this important fundraising event to life. And of course, thank you to you all for joining us tonight. And even during the tough times we are currently experiencing, being as generous as you can to help us replenish and grow the Children of God Community Impact Fund for the coming year. We hope you enjoy the program tonight and come away knowing that the support and contributions you make to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, San Mateo County are being put to use effectively and efficiently to serve those in need right here in our own backyard. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you all for joining us tonight for this signature annual fundraising event known as Hands and Hearts, Making a Difference. You make the difference for the work you're going to hear about this evening. I'm Gretchen Lott, and I'll be your host for the evening. Let me take a few moments and recognize and thank our sponsors who made this evening possible. Jeannie and William Barrelett, Jim and Leah Whitehead, David and Carolyn Amaral, an anonymous gift in recognition of the San Mateo Homeless Help Center Volunteer Network. Big Joe California North Incorporated, Putnam Mazda Subaru Chevrolet, Rebecca Peters, Peter and Paula Uccelli Foundation, Sheila and George Tishy, John and Arlette Monfredini Foundation, Woodmont Real Estate Services, Kathy and Jerry Krause, Ed Watson, Roland and Melody McLaughlin, Martin and Reggie Duda, Jim and Xanthi Hop, Duggan's Sarah Mortuary, Dee Dee Waters Masters. Without all of you, this event wouldn't be possible, and we give you a big thank you. Tonight, we'll spend about 45 minutes together. We're going to be sharing stories about how your generous donations help us serve those in San Mateo County. We're going to have time for you to participate in a live auction at the end of the event. but we have a few housekeeping things to touch base on now. In order to get started, there should be a link called Get Started. You might see this above me. You might see it to the side. I don't actually see it on the screen myself. It has appeared before my very eyes. There you have it. In order to participate in the auction later this evening or any time this evening, all you need to do is get started with the link above, bid on any auction item or the fund in need, which allows you to bid at any level to support the cause. If you have any questions throughout the evening, you'll have to hold them until later because this isn't actually a chat system, but you can always call the office tomorrow. The auction will be opened until tomorrow evening at 6:30. In addition, I don't want to forget that if you do participate in any of the auction items or in the fund in need, you will be entered into a raffle to win a case of wine donated by the Woodside Farm Vineyard. So thank you, Woodside Farm Vineyards. So again, you'll be participating by getting started. We're going to break the evening into 3 parts. We're going to hear stories. From those stories from our volunteers, from those we serve, our neighbors, and from some staff. I want you to know that these stories are provided from 35 different conferences, and we'll start the stories now with Jim giving a little more detail.
Thank you, Gretchen. And yes, SVDP's homeless help centers play a critical role in our safety net service programs by providing welcoming, helpful, and loving places where our homeless guests are greeted daily by our volunteers and staff with a smile, a cup of hot coffee, a meal, clothing vouchers to St. Vincent de Paul's thrift stores where they can shop in a dignified way, maybe a toiletry kit or critical garments such as underwear, socks, and referrals to other core agency services throughout our county. For the most part, our guests who come to our homeless help centers for assistance are living on the streets, in their cars, in parks, and in homeless encampments throughout our community. Our friends rely on the care they receive from our homeless help centers throughout San Mateo County, in South San Francisco, San Mateo, and Redwood City, currently in partnership with the Fair Oaks Community Center. In a moment, you'll hear from Lisa Collins, director of our South San Francisco Homeless Help Center, and her mother, volunteer Kathy Collins, who will tell us more about the Cafe St. Vincent at that location. Also, we will hear from Deacon Abel Mejia, director of our San Mateo Homeless Help Center, along with a few personal accounts from friends that we serve at each of our locations. Welcome to our homeless help centers.
Hi everyone, this is Abel of the San Mateo Homeless Help Center. I'm here to report beautiful things. Thanks to your generosity, we have been blessed and sharing our blessings. Lately, we have been serving about 120, 130 neighbors a day. That means 130 meals have been given away. We also have constantly, but not every day, have emergency kits, toiletry kits, and undergarments, other things that are essential to our neighbors. In addition to that, I have a story about someone who was homeless for about 8 years. And another agency reached out to us, indicating that they needed $345 to process her application and deposit fee. The agency had already attempted several times to house her, and therefore they had expended all the money that they could allocate for that case. They approached us and asking if we could help them out. And I was able to provide that person $345, and I am happy to report that she's now housed in East Palo Alto. Thanks for your donations, for your generous donations. We're able to reach out to those that most need it. Thank you so much. But we most of the time are able to receive great stuff. This is in collaboration also with Food Bank, but we also get other things. We get much essential supplies, you can see here. And from individual donors, we receive sometimes kitchen supplies, napkins, and all those other essentials that are needed to put a lunch bag ready. It's pretty basic. This is missing a sandwich that we will assemble in the next 2 hours. Sometimes very tasty drinks, and sometimes not many as well. But we complement that with the fundings that we receive through the council and different conferences, donations from the area. We are very grateful for everything and everyone that reaches out to us and provides us with many donations, including money, which obviously allows us to buy the things that obviously will complement our operations. I am very grateful, very thankful. I can see the happiness in the neighbors, and I extend that gratitude to you. You should be aware that we are only here because you provide us with those means. Thank you, and God bless. Good morning. We're here in San Mateo at the Homeless Help Center, St. Vincent de Paul. I am with one of our neighbors here. Can you please state your name?
My name is Gilberto Macias.
Thank you for being here with us. I appreciate that. Describe your situation that brought you to seek help from St. Vincent de Paul, Gilberto.
So I became homeless a few years ago. And so one of the reasons that brought me over here, I needed help with my situation. And hunger was one of them. And so when I came here, St. Vincent de Paul was able to help me with food, clothing, vouchers, and also they helped me fix my bike so I can continue my adventures and move on.
And why was this help you received from St. Vincent de Paul important or meaningful to you?
Well, without their help, I felt like I was stuck and I couldn't go anywhere. And by me receiving the help that I have gotten so far throughout the years has been, it's helped me by allowing me to continue to move forward and not just stay in one spot, but when I want to go out and have fun, I can actually grab my bike and ride, and it's not flat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for a description of the homeless help centers, and for Abel showing us how the homeless help centers can feed many homeless people, and for Gilbert, our neighbor, who shared his own personal story of how the Homeless Help Center in San Mateo has helped him. We're going to hear a little bit more about our Homeless Help Center now in South San Francisco from Lisa and Kathy, and also from Tim, another neighbor.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for supporting us. This is Lisa Collins, the director of the North County Homeless Conference talking. I'm the person on the right here, picture with one of our wonderful guests. And as you can see, we've had many, many wonderful guests and volunteers and staff over the years, all helping to make Cafe St. Vincent the wonderful community that it is today of giving and supporting and helping people in our community. These past couple of years have just been without precedent. And so when it's just myself and Carolyn volunteering, we had to rely on two special volunteers and my parents. Sadly, my father is no longer here. However, my mother is here today to tell us about the wonderful work that we are doing in Cafe St. Vincent.
Thank you, Lisa. We take this opportunity of thanking our donors, colleagues, conferences, and guests for your wonderful contributions to St. Vincent de Paul. At Easter time, we are reminded of this season of spring, of rebirth and rejuvenation, and we celebrate this with a special Easter meal and treats at Cafe St. Vincent, as we do with all major holidays and special occasions. We like to make our guests feel as special as possible, and they have some lovely treats given to them so they can feel loved and special. Cafe St. Vincent is a community and has been wonderful to see over the years all the great work that has been done, how people's lives have been changed for the better by coming to us for assistance, whether it is for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, or even a haircut. We are here to help in any way that we can, and we thank you all for your support.
Hi, I'm Timothy. I've known St. Veronica's and St. Vinny's for many, many years. Lisa has been an angel to me. My workers and everything, they got me housing, and they're continually looking after me. It looks like I'm very happy where I live at Alita Manor in South San Francisco, very close to where I was born. And they did a good job, and follow up everything, the MHA, St. Vinny's, St. Veronica's, they're angels. I love everybody, all right? You guys really, really took good care of me. Look at me now. My health is better. You know, my diabetes is, my level went from like a number 10 at AC1 to down to 5.5 now. This is the medicine, the doctors they hooked me up with. And like I say, St. Vinny's has always been my uncle was a priest there. I was actually christened there, right next door. So it's really kind of, it's got me excited. You know, what has happened to me has been a God's miracle. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Kathy, Lisa, and Timothy for sharing your stories. These are the types of stories that help you understand where your money and your donations go for the St. Vincent de Paul work for the Homeless Center. Now I'd like to introduce the second half of our program this evening that talks about the Peninsula Family Resource Center. This is for people that are in their homes. We want to keep them in their homes. It's a homeless prevention program. And now I'm going to have Jim talk a little bit about what this program is, and we'll have a few short stories to share as well. Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Gretchen. SVDP's Peninsula Family Resource Center program is designed to assist those individuals and families who may be experiencing a situation of being precariously housed for any number of reasons, including, but not limited to, health challenges, loss of job, family concerns, having to choose between filling their tanks up with gas, paying their PG&E bill, putting food on their table to feed their families, or paying rent to keep a roof over their family's head. In those scenarios, which we see every single day, something has to give. This is where our PFRC staff works hand in hand with our Vincentian volunteers in each of our 35 conferences at Catholic parishes all throughout San Mateo County to assess each situation through our hallmark home visits to provide assistance. How does this typically work? Well, when our PFRC hotline is contacted for help, our staff and volunteers manning the phones every day kindly greet the friend in need, listen to the challenges they are currently facing, and in most cases, refer first to the proper county core agency to potentially receive help from the government agency services that exist to help in many areas of need. Many times, our friends in need get the immediate help they need from our core agency partners, and their crisis may be handled. However, due to the government restrictions placed on our core agencies in providing assistance, many times those in critical need cannot be helped by our government agencies, and we would be back at square one with no assistance rendered. This is where the society is positioned to help as the safety net to the safety net service provider in our county. Once our friends are referred back to us via the core agency, our PFRC team assigns their situation to the closest Vincentian conference to where they live, where a home visit will be conducted, going out in pairs to meet our neighbors in their homes in that moment to assess the need for assistance. Many times, the home visit allows our Vincentian volunteers to see additional ways we can help. For example, a family might call in for rental assistance, but during the home visit, our volunteers see that the children are sleeping on the floor. They have no kitchen table to do their homework, and the cupboards are bare. It is then that upon approval from their conference president, St. Vincent de Paul provides the rental assistance requested, but with additional help by bringing bags full of groceries to the family or providing a voucher to our South San Francisco thrift store to shop for a kitchen table and chairs, or twin with another local conference to work with Mancini's to buy discounted mattresses for the family to sleep on at night. This is the direct impact your donations to the Children of God Community Impact Fund make each and every day in our community. You will hear a story from our neighbor in need who has been helped by our PFRC program in our conference at St. Mark in Belmont, as told to us in a letter she recently sent to us. Thank you for helping us help others through your generous donations to the Children of God Community Impact Fund this evening. God bless.
Hello, I'm Katie Mariani from St. Charles, and I'm the conference president. As a conference, we gather in community and spirituality to work and serve those in need. We provide food and supplementary grocery cards, clothing and furniture vouchers. We help with rent, utilities, and phone bills, transit passes, emergency hotel stays, and other services. In recent months, we've helped people create resumes, and when we learned of 2 neighbors who did not have working stoves in their apartments, we provided convection microwaves. We meet people where they are living through home visits mostly, where we can listen, comfort, and encourage. We also meet some only once because of an event in their lives that link us together for a short time. Last year, we received a referral for a man employed as a construction worker whose van had been stolen with almost all his tools. The van had been parked on a side street out of view of the work area. He reported the theft, and after some time, the police located the abandoned van with all the tools gone. This man was distraught because his job required that he provide his own tools, which were expensive, and he did not know how he could support his family, his wife, 2 sons, and 2 daughters without his tools. He was able to borrow from co-workers for a while, but the job was finishing and he could not rely on borrowing when he moved to a new job. Our conference discussed the situation and readily agreed to replace the tools. We asked for and received a list, and 2 of our Vincentians met him at Home Depot with a prepaid gift card so he could shop. He chose what he needed to allow him to continue working. The total was $725, and he was very grateful. Shortly thereafter, we received a card from his wife expressing her gratitude for restoring her husband's livelihood and the dignity that went with it because it meant so much to him. Last year, our conference supported 240 home visits, serving almost 800 people. During Thanksgiving and Christmas, our local families received turkeys, chickens, grocery cards, toys, and gifts through the generosity of our parish community. Because we are blessed with generous support from our parishioners, and because our local community is small, while our neighboring communities are much larger, we are able to help other conferences financially, some on a monthly basis, as well as providing grocery and Target cards during holidays, supporting hundreds of families, including Catherine Center. Through our work with those in need, we strive to build a community graced with love, respect, compassion, and support.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea, and I'm the president of the St. Timothy Conference here at the San Mateo chapter of St. Vincent de Paul. Our conference stays really busy delivering food and gift cards and other items to our neighbors who may need a little extra support or assistance. Over February and March, we completed just over 30 deliveries for 21 different families. Now, while we provided over $12,000 worth of assistance in those 2 months, we're almost never just dropping off food or gift cards or diapers. What we're really doing is visiting with these families, sitting with them in their homes and listening to their unique challenges and needs, and really trying to connect them with services or ministries that we know about. In a lot of ways, we're becoming friends and advocates for these neighbors in need. So we may hear that someone's looking for a job or a dining room table so they can sit and share meals with their families. And when we're out in the community talking with our relatives and our friends and our coworkers, and we hear of someone hiring or we hear of someone, ready to sell a dining room table, we're really able to make that connection. So in a lot of ways, we're really an extra set of eyes and hands and heart for these neighbors. Through our ongoing visits, we really come to know these families and to care about them, and really to develop our own empathy and understanding of their situation. So as we go about our conference duties and these home visits, and also when we share our mission and our work with others, we're really able to support St. Vincent de Paul's overall goals of building a more just and compassionate society.
Thank you, Katie and Andrea, for sharing some details about the day-to-day work that you do. In addition to Katie and Andrea, we have 2,200 volunteers in San Mateo County that go on nightly visits, daily visits to meet people in their homes. We work in pairs of 2 or in pairs. They make 26,000 visits a year. Your generous donations go to enable us to give the food and the rental help necessary for these families to stay in their homes. We're now going to hear from a woman named Raquel. She's going to share her personal story, followed by Stuart, another one of our conference volunteers. Raquel?
Hi, my name is Raquel. Before I share my story, I want to make it clear that when I mention St. Vincent de Paul of San Mateo County, I'm referring to every single volunteer who sacrifices their time and effort and dedicating their heart and soul into this organization. There are 2 groups of people that I would like to shed light upon. The first group are the volunteers who get the food ready, pack up food, and delivers it. The volunteers in the administration office who maintain the records, filing the documents, and answer the phones. The second group of people are all the vendors, grocery stores, companies, and organizations that financially support St. Vincent de Paul of San Mateo County. You are the most vital and help keep this beautiful organization running. Without you, it would not be able to operate. I thank each and every one of you for all that you do. I will now share my story. I will never forget August 29th, 2001. It was a tragic year to say the least. 2 horrible events took place in less than a month. On that day, I had lost my baby daughter to sudden infant death syndrome. Then, 10 days later, the World Trade Center attacks. I was already grieving, and I was trying to grieve for others who lost loved ones and people that were jumping off the rooftops to plunge into their deaths. It was too much. I couldn't take it. It's one thing to bury your mother and your father, but to bury your child? It just didn't seem right. All I wanted to do was numb myself, forever. And I did. But then the numbing became a problem, and the problem needed to be dealt with. So I dealt with my problem. I entered myself into a 60-day residential program for women in Marin County. During my stay, I got served with divorce papers. Once I was released from the program, I went back to our condo and found a paper that my soon-to-be ex-husband had written to the manager. It was a 30-day written notice to vacate, and today's date was the 29th. I had 1 day to stay there, and he was gone. It was at that moment that I had realized all I had was me and my car. I had no money, no home, and no place to go. I heard through word of mouth that there was this organization that helps people find shelter by giving out vouchers. I immediately took advantage of it because time was running out. I got into the shelter the same day. I stayed in the shelter for about 6 months until an opening came up. The county had just finished building a 24-unit studio apartment building. No one had ever lived in it. It was brand new. I have now been living here for 18 years, and St. Vincent de Paul has been delivering groceries to me ever since. I have to make a confession. The volunteers have grown on me like nobody's business. We all know each other by first name. I even know what their delivery days are. So if I'm missing Lisa and Michael, I know to call them at the end of the week. If I need a hug or a Barbara and Andy fix, I know to call them at the beginning of the week. How cool is that? On a more serious note, if it wasn't for St. Vincent de Paul, I would not have found shelter. And it's the shelter that led me into having my very own place so I could see my other children, which eventually led me to taking classes at CSM College in my late years. You never left my side, and for that I am eternally grateful. I thank each and every one of you for everything that you've done for me.
Hi, my name is Stuart Highland, and I am blessed to be the president of a very well-established conference, St. Francis of Assisi Parish, here in East Palo Alto. We also serve Eastern Menlo Park or the Bellhaven area. We were founded in 1963 by Isaac Stevenson Sr., Alan McIntyre, and Carl Clark, among others. Later, we were led by a Catholic worker, George Chippendale, who expanded our parish gifts beyond monthly food boxes, Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, to Christmas toy giveaways and summer camp scholarships for children. Our parish currently has experienced leadership as shared with Vice President of Finance Tamara Johnson and Vice President of Home Visits Melody McLaughlin. During COVID, we expanded our food service to daily food distribution, led by Charles Ciale Ross of the Tongan Catholic community and Paula and Eva from our Spanish-speaking congregation. Weekly, they serve 100 to 120 different visitors, with many coming 2 or 3 times a week for fresh vegetables, eggs, milk, and meat. We have a weekly review for rent and utility help, and recently expanded that support for homeless living in their vehicles who may have had their vehicles towed. Their vehicles are essentially their homes and their only form of shelter. This year, we have helped 2 women recover their vehicles from tow. Here's a story of another family that's been supported. In 2020, we were asked by a Palo Alto neighbor to find 2 families that could use $500 for Christmas. They also wanted some insight about the family situation and their need. One of the families they adopted was a mother and father who rent a garage apartment and live with their 6-year-old Down syndrome son. The following year, just this past December, the mother came back during our toy giveaway, where we were able to help her provide her son a winter coat, which was from an earlier donation by the Knights of Columbus of the previous year. And also the family was adopted once again and provided $350 for Christmas. They were very appreciative and appreciated very much the blessing of their neighbors just across the freeway, just across the 101. We are an essential partner in the working family community here of East Palo Alto that includes formerly incarcerated folks, many homeless, and or those facing mental health issues as well. We're part of a strong support network that includes Samaritan House South, Ecumenical Hunger Project, and the Silicon Valley Second Harvest Food Bank. We follow the creed of our St. Vincent, which reads, "It is love in practice. Let us love God, my brothers and sisters," he urges us. Let us love God, but let it be with the strength of our arms and the sweat of our brows. In this way, we grow the society by showing others how to serve and welcome new neighbors who also share St. Vincent's concrete and practical love for others.
Thank you, Stuart and Raquel, for those beautiful sharings. This enables the benefactors that are here with us this evening to understand the work that we do as volunteers for St. Vincent de Paul. Now is the opportunity for you to participate fully. We will begin our live auction, and we have just a friendly reminder to get started if you haven't already done so, although I'm hearing from our people in the background that people are already actively bidding on projects, on experiences, may I say it that way. But remember, get started, click get started, and we're ready to begin. There's several different items you can bid on tonight. 3 auction items that are experiences, which I'll describe in a moment, and then anytime you can fund a need. This is an opportunity to provide a donation at any level to St. Vincent de Paul. By participating in the auction this evening, all the way through tomorrow evening at 6:30, you'll be entered into the raffle to win a case of wine, again, donated by Woodside Farm. So, again, the auction will remain open until tomorrow, but you can start your bidding now. And if for any reason you have trouble bidding, you can call tomorrow and put your bid in through Chrissy. We'll put that information up later. Let us begin. Oh, you can also mail a donation in. Sorry about that. You can mail a donation if you're not inclined to participate online, and the address is below the screen. You'll see it there, 50 North B Street. Okay, is everybody ready? Warm up your fingers. Get ready to start bidding. The first auction item that we have tonight that was donated by Draeger's Market is the Ultimate Steak Dinner. This gift basket, a beautiful arrangement, will contain giant, juicy tomahawk ribeye steaks. Yummy. It also includes a carving board, sea salt, olive oil, and don't forget the delicious desserts. The value of this is $1,500. Do we have anybody bidding on it? Where's my background? Who's telling me what's bidding? I can't see.
Bridget Lott bidding for $750.
Oh, we have one bidder. Bridget. Bridget's bidding at $750. Let's get that bid up. Come on, everybody. Oh, Ed Watson. Ed Watson has outbid Bridget. It looks like we might have a bidding war for this Ultimate Steak Dinner for 8 donated by Draeger's Market. Remember, this is not only for you to enjoy with your friends, 8 pals, to get to know each other, but the money goes directly to those most in need. All the stories you heard tonight, your donation will go to feed many, many families. So while you enjoy your juicy steak, keep bidding, you'll be feeding others at the same time. How are we doing with the bidding, Chrissy? Any other bidders? Keep bidding.
Bridget Lott outbid Ed Watson, $1,150.
Okay, we're back up to $1,150. Let's get this up to $1,500. Come on, let's get this up to $1,500. I hear that Bridget is outbidding Ed Watson. Ed, you have 8 friends. I know many of them. One of them is my neighbor, and you know who I'm talking about. She would love to come to your house. Maybe you could include me too, and Joe. Okay, let's keep going. Let's bid this up. This is our first auction item. It's an experience to have your friends over, to cook together, to share a meal, and most importantly, to help the St. Vincent de Paul do the wonderful works that they do every single day. Volunteers are heading to homes to provide people with vouchers for food and clothing.
Outbid by Katie Mariani.
Oh, we've got another outbid of Bridget. Katie Mariani is bidding. Thank you, Katie. Let's keep this going. This is a wonderful event for you to enjoy at your own home, to cook a meal together and at the same time support St. Vincent de Paul. We'll let the bidding keep going and we'll move on to the next item. This is a wonderful opportunity to go away for the weekend. Sweet St. Helena. This is compliments of Michael and Marianne Pietro. I can personally talk about this because Joe and I, my beloved husband, who's sitting right here next to me in our studio here on B Street, we did this several years ago. It was a wonderful romantic getaway. It includes not only a wonderful stay for 2 nights in the beautiful country Inn, the Vineyard Country Inn in St. Helena. You get lunch at Mustard's Grill and a dinner at the Farmstead at the Long Meadow Ranch. The opening bid for this is $11.25. Do we have anybody bidding on this? I'm curious. Give me some feedback.
Yep, we have Bridget Lott got outbid by Susan Ragney.
Susan Ragney has outbid Bridget. Susan, keep going. Who else wants to bid on this? This is a wonderful getaway weekend to the wine country, the fabulous, beautiful wine country. With a pool, you could bring your children and make a weekend of it. Or just a good friend. Have a wonderful getaway in the beautiful.
Ragney outbid by Melody McLaughlin.
Oh, Melody's on the bidding. She's going to outbid. Who else can outbid Melody? Let's drive this one up. This is a wonderful getaway. We all need to get out. The masks are off. Now's the time to get back to travel. This is a great getaway weekend in St. Helena to enjoy wine, swimming, dinner, lunch, romance. Are there any other romantic people out there that are pondering some kind of gift for their spouse, for their partner, for their lover? This is the weekend getaway. Let's bid this one up. If you prefer to send in a check, I see it's popping up on our screen, 50 North B Street. Any other bidders, or shall we move on and let this one keep going overnight and watch this one drive up? Move on. Okay, I'm getting the signal to get on to the next one. Well, wait till you hear about this one. Have you ever wanted to go golfing in Scotland? Well, now's your chance. All you have to do is to drive to Half Moon Bay Golf Links for a fabulous round of golf. This is at the Half Moon Bay Golf Links in Half Moon Bay. The opening bid is $400, and instead of having to fly all the way to Scotland, you just drive over the 92, the beautiful 92, and drive right into the Half Moon Bay facility. Let's see, are we getting any activity on this?
Yeah, $640 by Joe Romano.
Oh God, my beloved Joe Romano has bid $640. Come on, somebody has to outbid. Oh! The crowds are going wild. The crowds are going wild. Oh wow.
Outbid by Chris Lott for $120.
outbid by my beloved Christopher. Christopher, keep bidding. Keep the bidding going. This is really a fabulous location to golf. It's a wonderful way to spend time with four people together, three of your best buddies on a beautiful course in Half Moon Bay. Hey, Marty, you're right down the street. This is a good one for you. You don't even have to drive very far.
Ed Watson outbid Katie Mariani for the steak package.
Oh my God, the other bids are going up for the steak package. Ed Watson is actively outbidding Katie. Katie, you better go back over and check. And the crowds again. The crowds are going wild. These are fabulous experiences. And since we've all been cooped up for 2 years, now's the time to get away. Treat yourself, and at the same time, know that you're helping thousands, 26,000 at least, other people that might want to have a nice bed, a place to sleep, a warm meal, you name it. Your donation goes directly. They're direct services. So every penny you give, these were all donated experiences. So every penny goes directly to those most in need of our care, mercy, our support, and our love. So bid up. Let's go. Come on. These auction items are great. Any other bids? Are we getting any other activity?
We're still at the same bids as we were before.
We're holding steady, but let's not hold steady because the poor are always with us, as we know. The poor will always be with us, but we will always be able to help because the well has never gone dry for St. Vincent de Paul because of our generous benefactors, including all of you. And thank you all for bidding at any level. Hey, we're going to move on now to the Fund a Need opportunities. The Fund a Need is an opportunity for all of us today, tomorrow, anytime, every day to give a donation to the St. Vincent de Paul and therefore give service and love, support to those, our neighbors. Again, everything you heard tonight, 26,000 people are right here in San Mateo County that we're helping. The Fund a Need allows you to make a donation at any level, and I'm going to describe the various levels that you might want to consider. Let's start at the $10,000 level. You can always give $1 million, but let's just say your budget allows for $10,000. One thing we would greatly appreciate is that you know that we are grateful for whatever level you give. But if you were able to give $10,000 this evening, your $10,000 would actually help up to 7 people who might be facing eviction or foreclosure to be able to stay in their homes. Remember, one of our efforts at St. Vincent de Paul is homeless prevention, and sometimes people need a little help to make their monthly mortgage or their monthly rent. And your generous donation allows us to help many, many people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Are we getting any activity at 10,000? Could it be ever so hopeful that somebody's giving at $10,000? I'm listening. Crickets, crickets. Please, somebody. You can always send a check. So let's move on to the next level. For those that may find $10,000 just a little bit above their budget, $5,000 may be within your range. If $5,000 is something you can consider giving, we would deeply appreciate it. As an example, $5,000 allows us to provide all the food, all the meals that are served at the homeless help centers, and all the food vouchers that we give out to those people that we described tonight, the 26,000 neighbors that are in our neighborhood that need food. $5,000, if you can give that, that would be a terrific contribution to this evening's event. So please give at any level. If $5,000 is just a little bit above your budget, we have a level of $2,000. And just as an example, $2,000 allows us to feed 250 people. And we get about 250 people a day at our homeless help center. So your $2,000, just imagine that you could feed 250 people a lunch for a day. I mean, wow, I hadn't even thought of it until I just said it. That's a beautiful gift to pay $2,000 to allow 250 people to have a nice lunch from our homeless help centers. If $2,000 might be just a little bit above your budget, what about $1,000? $1,000 enables St. Vincent de Paul to purchase sleeping bags for beds. Forgive me, beds. It also helps us purchase sleeping bags. But let me talk about beds for a minute. As you know, many of you know, I'm a volunteer also in St. Vincent de Paul, not only your hostess for tonight. And at St. Catherine's Parish alone, we get bed requests about 3 to 5 a month. And your $1,000 donations allow us to go out and buy beds for children who are sleeping on their floors. When we make home visits and assess their situation, we often see that they have no beds. we are able to buy beds because of your donations. $1,000 would help us buy 3 beds for children or adults sleeping on the floor. If $1,000 still might be above your budget, $500 lets us do a whole bunch of stuff too. $500 might help us pay utility bills. We all know the cost of our utilities. We all pay utility bills. We know how expensive it is to pay utility bills. Your $500 donation could help us help 2 families who might need help with their utility, their PG&E, their water bill. Don't be surprised, but we get a lot of requests for help with utility where people have almost about to be shut off. So your $500 does make a difference. If $500 is still a little bit above your budget, remember, by donating at any level, you'll be put into a raffle. So don't forget, you can be put into a raffle for a case of wine. But if you could,
2 winners for the wine.
oh, and I'm being reminded by our staff behind the scenes, 3 people, that there are 2 opportunities to win a raffle. So there will be 2 winners by any one of you that contribute to this event. But if you did give $250, I want to talk about the sleeping bags. $250 enables the St. Vincent de Paul to buy 9 sleeping bags. Now remember, I told you that they're feeding 250 homeless people a day. People often ask, well, didn't we give for the sleeping bags last year? Imagine that you're sleeping in a sleeping bag every single night. Imagine the cold, damp, wet surroundings you might be exposed to. Imagine how dirty they get. Most of us use our sleeping bags maybe once a year if we camp out in a nice cozy tent. Most of the people that get sleeping bags from St. Vincent de Paul sleep in them every single night. Your $250 helps 9 people get a new sleeping bag. Please consider a $250 donation. But we want everyone to contribute. So if $250 might still be just a bit above your budget, we know inflation's set in everywhere, and for all of us, $100 would be a wonderful contribution to the St. Vincent de Paul. For example, $100 allows us to help mothers with children have diapers. Diapers are expensive. Inflation costs are rising. Food costs are rising. This $100 helps us give families food, diapers, basic needs that they might have. Please consider a $100 donation. If you haven't had a chance to donate yet using the Get Started bidding process, you can do so all the way until 6:30 tomorrow. And if you prefer to send a check, you can see at the bottom of the screen the address to send your check. But I want to say 3 things. I want to say thank you all for listening to the stories of the St. Vincent de Paul tonight about our homeless help centers and about our Peninsula Family Resource Center, where we send out 2,200 volunteers to 26,000 people. We meet them in their homes and we assess their needs, and we're able to be generous in their needs because of you. And the last thing I want to say is I'm going to turn it over to Marty and say good night to all of you, and thank you for joining us.
That wraps up tonight's Hands and Hearts festivities. I extend a heartfelt thank you for your generous contributions. God bless and good night.